Your writing is important, and I can prove it. If you've ever felt like your words don't matter, today I'm going to show you that they do. We're going to talk about where this feeling comes from, this sense that our writing isn't important, and why it is so difficult to root out. And then I'm going to guide you through 5 yes or no questions that reveal whether your current project is important. So you can either move forward confident that the work that you're doing matters, or step back and change directions. But first, take a deep breath. You've made it to the writing woods. Here, there is no stress or pressure, and you don't have to prove anything to anyone. I want you to know that if you're struggling to prioritize your writing and to really feel like it's important, you are not the only one. There's a whole group of us over at writingwoods.com who are working toward sustainable, lifelong writing practices. We are reshaping our relationship with our writing, and we're doing it together. Just head over to writingwoods.com to join that free community of passionate, supportive storytellers. Most of us, whether we've been writing for 10 years or 10 weeks, have experienced that feeling that our work just isn't important. We say things to ourselves like, no one's gonna care, no one's gonna read it, it's not good enough. And I could sit here and try to convince you that it is. I could tell you to think about an author, a book that's changed your life, and think about what it would be like if that author had said that their work wasn't important. But I know your brain is just gonna snap back with, well, I'm not them. My stories won't change anyone's life. You already know that books are important and stories can change the world. What you're foggy on is the importance of your writing, your stories. So we're going to start by defining exactly what important means. And then we're going to help you objectively decide whether your current work is actually important. We're going to do it with 5 simple questions. So you can stop wondering about this once and for all. In modern society, we usually think of things as important when they check off at least a couple of the following boxes. They're often visible. They're something folks can see and point to and say, oh yeah, that matters. If you've got a trophy sitting on your shelf, that is evidence that the thing you did was important. They often result in tangible outcomes like wealth, possessions. They're often measurable in that way. If you make something and somebody pays you $100, it gives you a scale to measure things by. And if you make something that doesn't result in a tangible, measurable outcome, then we may not classify it as important. Next are things that influence others at scale. Fame, leadership, social media influence. Even if it doesn't make any money, if you're able to influence a large group of people, then folks will generally call that important. And finally, things that are immediate are often prioritized over things that have a ripple effect. We tend to look at the immediate benefits. We're not thinking too far into the future when it comes to deciding whether something is important or not. And part of that is because we don't know the future, so it's hard to say that this is going to be a big deal in 5 years. And the difficult thing about this is that writing often doesn't fit neatly into these boxes, even though it can influence emotions, ideas, and culture for decades. The truth is that society's definition of important does not capture everything that truly matters to human beings, especially when it comes to storytelling. So what is it then that makes writing important? Why do we tell stories? We have been doing it forever, y'all, and the reasons haven't changed. We tell stories to make sense of the world, to connect with others, to influence and teach, to entertain, to preserve memory and culture, and to explore identity and emotion. Obviously, that list is quite different. There is a mismatch between cultural prioritization and the overall goals of our practice. We are struggling to prioritize something that society often tells us is not important. And it's only when an author achieves a level of notoriety that creates visibility, wealth, and influence that their work is seen as important on a broad scale. With this dissonance, of course, we have trouble thinking of our own work as important. We are striving for something that is deeply human, but that society often doesn't categorize as success. And y'all, we live in a world where social media posts can reach thousands of people within minutes. So if the goal is instant influence, we are fighting a losing battle with paper and pen. Even with book talk sensations, most writing just doesn't work that way. And if we don't see immediate recognition, then those thoughts of does it really matter start to creep in. And it's not because we believe that that's what we need. It's not that we're sitting down to write and thinking, if somebody doesn't tell me tomorrow that this is amazing, then none of it's worthwhile. But when we are surrounded by this messaging, it starts to creep in and we wind up having to fight it off. We forget the importance of writing something that matters to ourselves and even one reader. And on top of this, we tend to compare ourselves to other more successful writers who have more viral posts, more publications, more money in the bank. And we assume that our own words are irrelevant by comparison. We deal with perfectionism and put pressure on ourselves to write the great American novel every dang time we pick up a pen. And the end result of all of this is that we lose sight of whether our writing is really important at all. And y'all, if we don't know that and believe it, then every time we sit down to write, the doubts and uncertainties just flood us. Trying to write with all of that is like trying to rake leaves in a hurricane. So let's take a few minutes right now and answer this question once and for all. I'm going to ask you 5 yes or no questions about your writing. Now, I want you to answer honestly. You can think about your current project, and after the questions, we're going to talk about what those answers mean. Question number 1. Does your writing clarify your own thinking or feelings? Even if no one else reads it, does writing help you make sense of something, an experience, an emotion, an idea? Does it change your understanding of the world in some way? Number 2. Does it connect you to someone else? Has even one person ever connected with your work? Has it resonated with someone else? Has it made someone else feel less alone? Number 3, does it teach, influence, or inspire? Could someone learn something from your work? Could it change somebody's perspective, even in a small way? Now note that I'm not asking if it has, I'm asking if it could. Could it motivate somebody or inspire them? And again, this is even one person. Number 4, does it preserve memory, culture, or identity? Does it capture an idea or a perspective that might otherwise be lost? Does it tell a story that might otherwise be forgotten? And this doesn't have to be historical fiction. I'll say this point's really important to me as an Appalachian author. And number 5, does it explore something that matters to you? Are you, through your writing, engaging with stories or ideas that feel meaningful? That's it. 5 questions. Now, let's look at our answers. The questions you answered yes to are the areas where your writing is already important. Those questions may not align with what society calls important. Notice I didn't ask about money or publications or readership, but those questions align with why we tell stories. They represent the purpose of storytelling. Even if it doesn't always feel obvious, every question you answered yes to shows that your writing is impactful. Every yes proves that your writing is important. And any that you answered no to, think about why. Is it because your project hasn't reached the right audience yet? Or is it because it doesn't truly align with you and your values? I hear folks say all the time that they don't want to write something just because it's marketable. I think that's a deep fear for a lot of artists, that we'll have to eventually choose between creating something that sells and creating something that feels deeply personally satisfying. I believe that the answers to these questions are much more important than the amount of money your book makes. Because society may tell us that money and notoriety are the most important things, but when it comes down to it, we are all still humans. We all still want these things. We want connection. We want legacy. We want to share stories and perspectives with other human beings. We want to see ourselves represented on the page. We want to feel something. We want to understand the world around us. There's no path forward for our society, for our species, that doesn't include these things. So those yeses, they mean something. They mean that your work is important. It matters. And the no's on the board, they give you an opportunity to make it matter even more. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a moment and write down your personal goals for your writing. Why do you write? What do you want people to remember about you? Think about the reasons we listed earlier about why people tell stories. Making sense of the world, connecting with others, teaching and influencing, entertaining, preserving memory and culture, and exploring identity and emotion. Do any of those resonate with you in particular? Think about it, write it down, and then reflect on what kind of project you can write that aligns with these goals. And this isn't about judging your work, it's about choosing intentionally where to put your energy, and to make that choice not based on what everyone else is doing, what you think a publisher would like, but based on what is truly important to you. If your writing project is so close to your heart, if it embodies your personal values, your personal goals, if it embodies the legacy that you want to leave in the world, and not because of how good it is, not because of any objective level of quality, but because the thing itself is that important to you, then you'll know every time you sit down to write, you will know you're doing something that matters. Because y'all, writing, it doesn't have to go viral. It doesn't have to win awards or make money to be important. The value of stories comes from the way they connect people. They shape the world. They preserve ideas and they help us explore the things that truly matter the most. And whether your words reach one person or thousands, whether they're read by strangers or just sit on your desk, they have the power to matter immensely. If you feel like your writing is not important, try to be honest with yourself and find the source of your doubt. Are you questioning because you can't shake this definition of important that only considers money and influence? Or are you choosing writing projects that don't align with your personal goals and values? Take your time exploring what writing means to you, and then hold on to that and use it to recognize the importance of your work and what you're doing every day. And while I hope this conversation has helped you feel more confident in your writing practice, the truth is that this is not a conclusion that we can reach in one day. Keep an open mind, keep writing with intention, and keep telling the stories that matter to you. This is a lifelong pursuit of understanding what matters to us, because it will change, and prioritizing that over all else. No matter where you go from here, it will matter to you, to readers, and to your future self, who can look back and be proud of the work they've done.